Hi, my name is Tariq Masri, and I'm the principal bassoonist of the Alabama Symphony Orchestra. Today, I'm going to read When Stravinsky Met Nijinsky by Lauren Stringer. In addition to reading the book, I will play two excerpts, one from Petrushka and one from the Rite of Spring, two wonderful ballets that exist because of the collaboration between these two amazing artists. I hope you enjoy. When Stravinsky composed music all by himself, his piano trilled an orchestra with violins and flutes, trumpets and tubas, and kettle drums that lightly pom-diddy-pommed, with the ringling and tingling of cymbals and bells. But he dreamed of making something different and new. When Nijinsky composed dances all by himself, his torso floated, a swan. His legs leaped, a deer, and his feet, like a sparrow, tippy-tip-toed, while his arms curved and swerved like a snake. But he dreamed of making something different and new. Then Stravinsky met Nijinsky, and his music began to change. His piano pirouetted a puppet, his tuba leaped a loping bear, and his trumpet ta-ta'd a twirling ballerina. Here the author is talking about one of my favorite pieces of Stravinsky, and that piece is Petrushka, a ballet. If you look carefully at the illustrations, you can see the characters that the author speaks of. And when Nijinsky met Stravinsky, his dance began to change. His torso trumpeted a melody. His arms and legs sang from strings, and his feet began to pom-diddy-pom like timpani. On these pages, you can see Nijinsky is playing the character of Petrushka. Stravinsky inspired Nijinsky. Nijinsky inspired Stravinsky. Together, they decided to dream of something different and new. Stravinsky said, "Nijinsky, let's remember our old home Russia. Perhaps from the old will come something new. I'll play a deep forest where dancers can leap. They'll need night drums that rumble and fires that blaze." And Nijinsky said, "Yes, they will jump round in circles, and their feet must be muddy. Can you make a mud sound?" And Stravinsky answered, "As long as it's loud." So they took Russian folk dances and Russian folk songs. They squared them and flattened them, twisted and cubed them, turning them into something different and new. At rehearsal, some of the dancers declared it a mess, and one or two musicians walked out. But enough of them stayed and enough of them played, drumming their feet and beating their drums to rollicking chords and rhythms offbeat. And when it was ready, Stravinsky and Nijinsky brought their new show to town. The night began sweetly with a single bassoon, then it grew louder, louder, louder. I will now play the opening of the Rite of Spring, which is depicted on the pages that you see right now. The dancers stomped and skipped and jumped. They're not dancing the way dancers should dance. The orchestra pounded and squeaked and blared. They're not making music the way orchestras should. Some people hated it. They were nettled by the new. They stood on their seats and shouted, "Boo! Boo! Boo!" They threw their hats and hairpins, gloves and boots. They pounded their fists and stamped their feet. And some people loved it. They were excited by the new. They stood on their seats and shouted, "Bravo! Bravo! Bravo!" They threw hats and hairpins, gloves and boots. They pounded their fists and stamped their feet. The crowd poured into the street when the curtain went down, rioting and bellowing, buzzing and hurtling, wild with the night that brought something brand new. When Stravinsky met Nijinsky after the show, he said, "Nijinsky, what a ruckus we made tonight." And Nijinsky said, "What an uproar and what a delight! Will music and dance ever be the same?" Then they smiled and they laughed, and they both agreed. Something very different and new began this remarkable night.